Okay, so we have this cute little bridge here, and we're told that the cable supporting the deck is in the shape of a parabola, which is really convenient because we know the equation for that shape. I've written it right here. Now, this is the equation for a vertical parabola. If you had a horizontal parabola for some reason, you'd want to use a little different equation. But what we're going to do is take some of the information given to me, and you can see here's some. It tells me the distance between those two towers and the height they are above the deck. Okay, that's useful. And the next thing it tells me is the height of the cable in the middle of the bridge. The middle of the bridge right here, 25 feet above the deck. So I'm going to use those two pieces of information. Now watch how I'm going to draw my coordinate system. This is usually an important decision you have to make. Where is your coordinate system? I'm going to make a nice thick, there we go, big beefy XY coordinate grid like this. So there's my XY. Can't miss it. And the way I'm going to interpret this information given to me at the beginning is this way. I'm going to take that middle of the bridge information, and that's about the cable right here. Okay, the height of that cable is 25, and the x distance of it is 0. So that's going to be 0, comma 25. That's the vertex of the parabola. That tells me the h and the k. The next piece of information I'm given was about this right here, which is the top of one of those tower units. And that's going to be an x distance of 1,250 feet. Remember, they're 2,500 feet apart. And it stands 230 feet above the flight deck, or the car deck. So, let's put those into our equation, see what happens. So I have an x value, which is, and I'm putting in the blue numbers here, that high point as my xy. That's going to be 1,250 minus, and now I put in my h number right here, which was 0. Okay, so that thing squared equals, I still have 4p. I don't know what 4p is. That's a little bit of a mystery right now, and I need to solve that if I'm going to finish this problem. But I know the y value at the high point is 230, and the k value, right, the vertex value, is 25. So if I calculate what 4p is based on these numbers, it's going to go something like this. I won't show you every single bit of the calculation, but it's going to go something along these lines. It's going to be 1,250 squared divided by, it looks like 205. Okay, that's going to be 4p. And according to my calculator, I did this beforehand, that's going to be equal to, it's kind of a big number, 7,621.95. Okay, that's a big deal. That tells me basically everything I need to know about this parabola shape, how curvy or narrow it is. And now we're going to plug that back into the equation again, but this time using different numbers. This time, and let me do this in red, I want to know if there was a cable damaged, and it gives me the x location of that cable. How high is that cable? In other words, what's the length of that hanger connecting the deck to the cable? Because I need to replace that piece. So the length of that thing can be figured out this way. My x value is going to be, remember what it told you? It told you 375 feet from the east tower. So the east tower's position is 1,250, and I'm going to say minus 375. Well, that gives me an x coordinate of 875. So in other words, if I have an x coordinate, I should be able to find the y coordinate. Okay, and you do it like this. You plug in 875 for x. It's still 0 for our h location, right? This was centered on the y-axis. And that's 4p. I have 4p above. And then y, who knows what y is? I don't know. We're going to calculate it. But I do know k was 25. So now you plug all these numbers in, and this is basically going to turn out to be 875 squared divided by 4p, or in other words, 875 squared divided by 7,621.95. Notice I never needed to figure out what p was. And that's going to equal y minus 25. Okay, now if you take this thing and you calculate what y is, that should be a pretty quick step here. I get 125.5 feet as my answer for the length of that hanger.